sits right next to this Volvo here, this friend truck. So I saw a car coming, so I wanted to make sure I know it's. Yeah, I see a pickup coming. I'm gonna wait for him to go by first. Okay, so Boparai is just trying to park along the curb, it looks like. I can't see because I wanted to get my tandems further over, but I can't see because Boparai kind of maybe not sure what he was actually doing. Let's wait on the receiver's getting ready to give the bills to the guy at the truck next to me, I think. I don't want to back up until I know for sure what he's doing. He's back there toward the back, so. Just a little bit off to the left. Wasn't sure how much clearance I had between the side of me and the guy next to me, so we're good. Said go past some, I guess, a set of railroad tracks. On the left side there'll be a wash bay there, so back in and let them take care of it, and once I'm done there, I might go down to all the way to the end or something and then hang a left. And she said also look for 736. There's my loaded right here. This one right here, a second one over. Okay, here's the railroad tracks, obviously. The box cars are on it. This must be it right here. Doors open. lights there because I can see it through my hood mirror. Can't tell what he's doing though. Alright. Get my tandems over to that further door. I'll give that one a try. I don't know if there's enough room on the back end of it. Definitely room on the front end. I just can't tell if there's room on the back end. Only one way to find out is I saw tracks over there, so we'll see. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room there. Go back over there. Other way. It's kind of a wedge, but it'll work. Tandems all the way back. That should be good. These paint spots, or can I? So if I can do it straight back right here, even better. But these might be reserve spots, given how close they are to the building. Yeah, they're reserve spots. All right, so we'll go a little further down. Still look like reserve spots here. Alright, this guy here's a reefer, DNT. I'll park next to him. More for Beacon Transport than I am for I'd rather park next to the reefer driver than the drive-in. Pull forward. This was bad. Definitely not the best backing I've done. I picked too far. I picked a spot that was too far to the right. So I see I pointed right toward this hearse box truck. That was too far over to the right. I needed to pick a target that was further left. Get my tandems over that way, and then I'll need to correct forward, I'm pretty sure here. I think I will run out of space before, I don't know, man. What was that noise? Sounds a little bit closer to this guy here. Now I'll work the drive tires over. good. I'm actually at the edge, I think. Okay, guys, I'm going to go over a couple of things, some of these little details here about how these backings could have been better, and so you can make your own backings better as well. Like we all make dumb decisions. Now, one of the things I had in mind here when I was starting this backing was I wanted to use this space that Boper I was in. I wanted to use part of the lane, so I wasn't so concerned about using up the space down here. Ideally, I could have got my tandems a little bit deeper down into the lane before I started my setup. But again, I was also under the impression that Boper was going to back up and be more timely in moving back or something. I wasn't really sure what was going on there, and ultimately I got a little impatient. So I just went ahead and I'll just work with what space I have. Okay, now here I have a vehicle coming down the road, so I wanted to wait for them to go by first before I complete my setup. Meanwhile, I'm hoping Boper would back up further because I wanted to get all the way out to the curb and get as much angle toward my spot as I could. So ultimately, this wasn't the most effectively set up backing here. You're going to see when I first finished my setup here, I can tell by the way my tractor and trailer are offset, and where I'm trying to back into the spot right next to this Volvo driver here. It wasn't going to be enough. I was going to end up a little bit too heavily toward him, so that's why I ended up pulling forward. You see, I do a serpentine maneuver, 3-point serpentine, whatever. Come back out, get my trailer a little further out. Now I have more room to work with. Okay, now of course I'm gonna have to wait for this the receiver here to give the other guy his bills. Okay, now watching my own videos, I'm gonna say I don't necessarily have the greatest steering wheel habits as far as teaching inexperienced drivers is concerned, because the way I'd always teach my trainees would be, let me make sure. Okay, so as you have the black part of my steering wheel on both sides, that's right in the center. Now, normally I would teach trainees, keep your right hand only on the very top of the steering wheel right here. Do not ever touch the steering wheel with your left hand, and try to keep your right hand on that same part of the steering wheel at all times, no matter where you're steering the wheel at. That way you always know what's going on, how much you're turning the steering wheel while you're doing it. And you always know what it takes to get back to center. Or, so if you need to put in some more left or take out some left, whatever, you still always have an idea where center is. Now, why I have this habit is also because I'm always staying very well aware with my peripheral vision of what's going on with the front of my tractor. I know whether I'm in a turn or if I'm just tracking straight ahead or straight back with the tractor part. So keep that in mind here. So now, if you want to have good habits, though, I would have the right hand up on top and not touch the steering wheel at all with my left. Okay, so as you see, I'm not moving too much with the steering inputs. I'm not going max input. I'm only putting just enough to get the trailer to track the direction I want it to track. Now, you see, I'm trying to use my hand in one spot, but I sometimes have that habit of moving it. Okay, now, as I was coming back here, I got a little concerned how tight it would be if I was going to have any risk at all of my back end over here hitting the Volvo driver's trailer. So I went ahead and just played a little bit safer, because ideally you don't want to get your tandem, wait till the very last second to get your tandems over to that side or right in front of your door in the center of the lane. The longer it takes, the less time you have to get your tractor to line back up. So this is something else here to watch for. Now you see, okay, here's my door here. Now it's hard to tell. Look like it's lined up pretty good, but from what I could see in the mirrors, okay, now there's a wheel chock sitting right here. It's actually off to the left of my door, and you can see I'm tracking to actually run right over it. So I can tell from my mirror that I was too far to the left. So that's why I ended up pulling forward. Now when I pull forward here, you see I'm looking left. What I'm doing is I'm trying to move the tractor over toward the Volvo driver a little bit, and then just pull the trailer straight. And while I'm doing this, my goal here is to bring the tandems into the center of the lane while I'm doing that. Okay, so that's my main focus when I'm pulling forward like that. Now this is one of the ways you can do a pull up. It's not the only way you can do it. In fact, some people might say this is not the greatest way. For training purposes, yeah, pulling straight ahead might be a little bit more advisable. In practice, though, this is a very effective way to do it. You just got to make sure you're aware of where every part of your trailer is and your tractor as well. So anyway, I see the trailer's angling toward the next door over. That's how I get as I'm pulling the trailer, that's what gets the tandems dragging more toward the center of my spot instead of from the left. So now you see me turning. My goal here with this left turn is only to get my trailer squared up with the door, or with the lane. So, and my main focus with that is where are my drive tires at. It doesn't matter where the front of my tractor is or anything else. Yeah, I need to get, once my tandems are centered in the lane, my goal here is to get the drive tires over here to the center of the lane also. And remember, the drive tires are back behind you, so you have to keep that in mind if you're trying to work on that angle. Okay, so I think now I overshot on purpose on if I remember right on that case, and it might have been because I could tell that I didn't like the angle when I first squared up. As you see, I'm still off to the side. You still couldn't quite see the trailer when I started to back up. You can't see the trailer, and that's because I need more. I need a little bit more angle out of it than I gave it. I still needed to if I'm going to push it back and it's still a little bit too far to the left, I need the angle of the trailer aiming toward the Volvo driver's trailer. Okay, now I'm squaring up with it. And from here, everything else was seamless. So now it's just, and then watch this video more several times too if it helps you. Watch what the front of the trailer, what the tractor does through this view here. Keep an eye on how much I'm looking around in any direction too. Now you'll see I move around. My head moves around quite a bit. Also, again, windows down when you're backing. Someone has to yell at you, you won't hear them. So make sure. I don't care how good or bad the weather is. Roll them damn windows down. You know, safety trumps your comfort and convenience. Okay. So have them down. Make sure you're in a position where you can hear somebody yelling at you if they have to. Okay, this is the second backing I did yesterday. This is at the wash rack. Or going from the guard shack to the wash rack at the Tyson plant in Waterloo, Iowa. This is going to be mostly straight back, although it wasn't a very well executed one. But, you know, it's all right. You have some setup corrections that need to be made, or adjustments that can be made. Okay, now the wash rack right over here, as you might have seen already earlier, right on the other side of these box cars here, this building here. So I'm going to have all this space here to set up. And there's two doors open. I see guys hanging out here, so my impression was it wasn't going to take long here at all. So when I finished the backing into the door, I was just kind of nonchalant, I guess, carefree about how the tractor was positioned, because the trailer was where it was at, and I didn't think I'd be there long. Okay, so straight back setups. How far do I turn? I usually start start turning switch back from my right turn to my left turn to square up with the trailer when my tractor is about a 45-degree angle from what I'm trying to back into. So my lane, if I'm going straight across the lane, my tractor is normally pointing this way at a 45-degree angle back toward the direction I came from, and then I'll cut back. Okay, so then coming back with, I'm going to move this. Don't care about the door. Okay. Now, I had two options here. I could either fix myself and get into this door, or make adjustments to get over to the door over there that I'm not lined up right with. I'm actually in front of this door, but well, a little more in front of this door, but not even in front of that correctly. So I ended up I was already angling toward the other door. Just decided I'll go ahead and go to the one on the east end of the building. Okay, I don't know what's sticking. All right, that's right. I was waiting. Yeah. Now, when I was sitting there, now I couldn't see anything in my door mirrors. However, I could see somebody's parking lights or running lights, whatever, through this hood mirror, and I could tell they were moving. So I wanted to make sure I knew what was going on with them. That's why I was able to. Why I was kind of hesitant right there to move, but. Okay, now I'm coming back. Now I see I'm steering to the left to get the front of the tractor to go right, and steering left will also get the trailer to go to the right. Yeah. Okay, so just remember, there are a couple of ways you can remember with maneuvering the steering wheel. Your drive tires go the same direction that you steer. The steer axles and the front of the tractor and the back of the trailer will go the opposite direction that you steer in general, or they will react the opposite direction, not necessarily go the same direction or those directions. Okay, so I'm coming back. My main focus now, I don't want to come straight at this door like at an angle. I want to get up. I want to center myself in front of the door, not before and not at the back end of it. So I'm just going to go straight back, just a regular straight back maneuver, until I get my tandems almost centered in the lane. Then I'll come back over. Okay, and it turned out the trailer ended up lining up really nicely with the door once I bumped the dock. You can see how the truck shook a little bit. That was me hitting the dock door. And yeah, the truck is off to the side, which isn't ideal, but now, again, if I was expecting to be there more than a few minutes, I would have fixed that. The fact that I wasn't planning on being there longer than I was, it had a lot to do with why I just said to hell with it. I'm just going to go ahead and park it like this. And, and it turned out I would have been better off going ahead and fixing that, because this next, actually when I left the door, there was I think a U.S. Express or somebody trying to get into this door because my tractor position was making it hard for him to get to that door. Okay, now I'm dropping the same trailer in the empty lot over on the far southwest end of the Tyson lot. I'm going to back into this spot right here. However, this trailer and the one right before it. Okay, these two trailers are pointing at each other on the back end. So I knew there was a lot of space here to work with up front, but on the back where the corners are, I wasn't quite sure there was enough space to work with. So I was a little iffy on if I could even back into that spot. That's a normal 45-45, pretty decent amount of room here to work with. You see, I can get the trailer pointing at a pretty good sharp angle toward the spot before I even start to back up. Okay, this is a good 45. I mean, when you have lots of room, this is exactly what you want. The trailer is largely pointing toward your spot. It's not pointing down this way somewhere, and that's ideal. Okay, now I didn't have a good well lit cab while I was doing this, so I apologize for not having the in cab view showing what I'm looking at, and how often I'm looking around, whatever. But the next back end video at the end of this, you'll see anyway. Okay, now you can see from the way my tractor's moving, it's the front of my tractor starting to point more toward these guys, which means I'm in a left turn. You can also tell by, see, you're starting to, the end of the trailer here is starting to go more and more that way, toward lined up with my tractor. That's another way you can tell that your tractor is rotating more quickly than your trailer is. Okay, right here is something I also want to talk about. Very common problem with with inexperienced drivers. Okay, now my tandems are in a good spot here, but look where my trailer's pointing. It's pointing toward this trailer here. So what if a thing that a lot of inexperienced drivers do is they'll try to they'll try to force it and then just chase it in, and and then turn it into a blindside while they're still coming in. Well, while they're doing that, the trailer is pointing in that direction. The tandems are going to keep going that way too. The tandems are already centered in the spot. Once they're there, don't move them. Don't keep backing up and forcing them where they're going to go further off centered. Not to mention the risk you're going to take a hit in this trailer here if you do that. So you're going to see right here I stopped, and I'm going to pull forward and hard right to offset my tractor in the opposite direction, because I like where my tandems are at. I don't like the trailer's angle though. So now I need to set myself up so my tractor tires, my drive tires, will get over here to the center of the lane faster than the trailer can move. But, as I was saying here, a very common problem I always had with trainees was, they'd have a similar situation here, and they'd keep going hard left and chasing the trailer down, and it's, in this situation, don't do that. You're going to have, you're putting, especially when you're parking between two trucks. The front of your trailer or the back of your tractor is a higher risk of hitting the guy on your blind side, and then the back of your trailer is a higher risk of hitting this trailer or truck on your sight side. Once you know that you don't have it, just stop. Pull forward and right. Now see, I'm pulling forward and right there. You can see, now you can see my header board there. That's more evidence I'm tracking off to the right from the trailer. Now when I come back, I'm going to go straight back. See? You can still see my tractor pointing right at the same trailer. Keep coming back, and I'm estimating where the center of the lane is, where my drive tires need to be about centered in the spot, or in front of the spot, I should say. So once I think my tractor tires or my drive tires are closer to center around the spot, then I'll chase the trailer down and take a look at what I have. Okay, and now I made another adjustment because I was looking, you can't see, but I was looking in both mirrors, and there was something there I wasn't liking, and decided I wanted to fix it. I think I was pointing a little bit more toward this guy, even though it didn't quite look like it. Okay, now I'm in a good straight back setup, or straight back situation. And it's just a matter of coming straight back from there. Yeah, it's very easy coming once those corrections are made. Okay, this last one here is, this last backing video you're going to see here is at the Flying J, and I think it's Elk Run Heights or whatever they call it. Just on the east end of Waterloo, Iowa. Okay, now I do have a cockpit view here, or cab view, whatever, to help you with. I will be backing in next to, I think it's this reefer truck here. Yeah, there's two spots here. There's a reefer truck here, a drive van here. I prefer to park next to reefers. So now I'm going to start my turn. Now this is another Peterbilt too. Okay, started my turn as soon as my front end got to the opposite end of that Peterbilt. Now what am I pointing at when I come down this way? Okay, I ended up going somewhat toward the passenger side of her spot. That's an important detail to remember, or actually pointing right at the front end of him. But now the lane I don't think was wide enough for me to work with like that. It looked like it was decent width, but I just picked a bad target. I went too far to the right. So coming back over here, see, when I stopped steering to the right and steering straight ahead when I was pointing right at her spot. In hindsight, if if I would have done this again, I probably would have pointed it right at this spot over here to the left of him, or to the hearse box right at my left. That would have given my trailer more room to maneuver past my hole that direction before I actually start backing up, and that would have given my trailer an opportunity to track more perfectly toward the spot I really wanted it to. Okay, so coming back now, you can see it's the trailer's in more of on a path more to line up very nicely with this this spot next to the dry box. Beacon transport. I see. I'm not steering right most of the time. I don't want my tractor veering toward these guys over here on my. Oh wait, no. I don't want my tractor veering in the direction of where this Hirschbach truck is, or anybody else who might be in that row. That's why I like to steer straight and just let the trailer do its own work. And you see, I'm just not too much steering input, not too heavy, but it's not non-existent either. As I feel like I need to control the trailer's rotation, I make little adjustments. I might go one direction or the other depending on how much I feel like I need from the trailer. And see, I keep looking over here at my right side mirrors, and now I'm looking up ahead over here at the Hirschbach tractor. Okay, you got to watch out for these kind of setups here too, because one of the reasons why I stopped here instead of continuing to go further back is because I got to be worried about how, where the other side of my trailer is, the front of it, in relation to the truck that's over there. I don't know how much more room I have in that other lane before I start running into this guy's space. So I'd rather be in a position where I can see both sides of the trailer, and I have plenty of trailer angle there to work with. So as you see, I'm pulling forward now. I don't have a lot of room here before I was going to hit Hirschbach, so I start backing up again. Just enough to really clear Hirschbach, and then hard right again. I want to see both sides of my trailer. That way I know how clear I am of that guy on my other side. Of course, goaling is never a bad idea either. So, sometimes goaling is more effective, and like you saw in my video in Avondale, Arizona not too long ago, and sometimes, it can just be effective by just going forward. Okay, same situation that I was talking about in the other backing in this same video. My tandems are a little bit more, getting closer to centered. My tractor's pointing at this guy. My focus here is getting my drive tires to the center of the spot as quickly as I can. But I'm not so quickly that I can't react to the trailer. And you see, I'm mostly spending my time looking on the side of the truck the trailer that I can see. Okay, same 3-point serpentine correction that you saw in the other backing here. So now my goal is to get the tandems right in the center of the spot first. So that's why you see the tractor offsetting a little bit. Get the tandems more centered as early as I can. Now I off track back to the right to get my drive tires to the center of the spot. Something to really watch there. Watch your drive tires. Most people don't. Most people struggle with their backing. And make a lot of silly mistakes only because they don't pay attention to the drive tires. Okay, now you see I'm chasing the trailer and I'm good. Okay, so every backing, no matter how good you are at backing, you're always going to have some little mess ups there. Something wrong with your setup, or maybe maybe you're tired. Maybe you try to force something or whatever that you shouldn't be trying to force. I don't care how long you've been on the road. You're going to make mistakes with backing. Okay, so accept that it'll happen, and then just whatever will enhance your skills, though, it doesn't matter. There's always something you can learn from this. All right, so as you see, I would not call these the greatest backings I've done in the world by any stretch, but were they effective? Yes. Were they useful learning tools for you? Yes. So I don't see anything wrong with that. It's a very common thing, especially when you're a newer driver, you're going to run into problems with your setups. So what better situation than to have someone who is experienced and knows how to do these backings have these kind of problems and actually show you what they do to fix their problems. All right, so all right, that's all for now. I'll keep watching for more live streams and more backing videos in the future. Thanks.